Do you remember a couple of days ago when I talked about this right here, when Kevin O'Leary of Shark Tank said that this is a moment of inflection. This is an opportunity for a lot of people to learn from the Bud Light collapse, the situation of a constant string of unforced errors being made by the business itself. Hell, we can learn from this situation. Well, it seems like, because they have nothing but time, because they aren't producing anything, Disney is trying really hard to make sure that that's not going to be the case, because they have their own little aspiring Dylan Mulvaney, their own little aspiring brand killer, and Rachel Zegler, who is just the sweetest little thing. Oh my god, is she just a train wreck? Branding experts warn Rachel Zegler Backlash could ruin Disney's big budget Snow White remake and predict executives will be having crisis talks in order to win back fans ahead of a 2024 release. Yeah, you sure hope so. Ultimately, this film is going to be a disaster. I'm sure that the marketing executives and also the executives at Disney, when it comes to releasing this film, they're just trying to hope. It's like, is there any way that we could go ahead and, I don't know, just kind of, silently release it on Disney Plus, just try to bury it? Well, Rachel Zegler, she's done something very good in promotion of this film. Everybody knows about it, for better or for worse, and she has definitely confirmed herself a theatrical release for this one. Because the optics on this one, if they just go ahead and just try to slide it over on D+, brother, that is an admission of defeat that Disney, their giant ego wouldn't allow. So let's see what they're saying. Rachel Zegler's comments about the upcoming live-action Snow White remake could have a huge impact on ticket sales. Branding experts have warned the 22-year-old actress has received plenty of backlash after she admitted that she hated the original 1937 movie and branded the storyline weird while referring to the prince character as a stalker. After she also said that, I loved Snow White growing up, and then it came out and it's like, oh, okay, cool. You're just a liar. You're a little liar, dude. A big budget Disney movie is scheduled for release March 2024. Oh, great. During Women's Month. How fantastic. And then you can have your strong, independent female. Just don't come out on March 9th because I'll just not appreciate that birthday gift. And now it has been predicted that executives will be having crisis talks in order to do some serious damage limitation following the negative response to Rachel's stance. Yeah, and I'm sure the company behind, I have no idea, because the Hunger Games was such a fart in the wind to begin with. But the fact that she has been cast in the prequel to that, I'm sure they're also marketing executives going, if anybody's going to be talking about this fucking film, it better not be Rachel. Oh my god, is it too late to recast? The backlash occurred at several videos of Rachel speaking negatively about the original film, and various interviews last year resurfaced online, and also just her an unpleasant disposition more recently on the SAG-AFTRA picket line, which kind of emphasizes a couple of other things, because there's been some more people that are down there on the picket line, which, 75 Dawn Bucks is not a real currency. I'm just making some stuff up right now. If you can go ahead and tell me who that is. Now, I know who that is. I will obviously tell you very, very shortly who that is right now, but that's also probably somebody that's actually on, or maybe even above. I would say probably above, given the casting and then the future casting, and then some of the other films that she has recently been in as well. And that's a she, by the way. I know that was also maybe throwing you off a little bit. But yeah, that's probably somebody who has a much more complete resume, maybe a bigger, and I'm not just talking structural, but a bigger star than Rachel in Hollywood, but she's out there doing her part on the SAG-AFTRA picket line, which doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon. I don't even think that they have any talks scheduled, and this could be going for a very, very, very long time, which is probably not great, especially for the Zegler camp, because now it just shows that, these executives and these businesses have nothing but time on their hands. They can go ahead and run back every single stupid statement that anybody that is a part of any future project, because those, they're going to have to make some money, because there's not a lot of stuff going on, because nobody can write anything, nobody can produce anything, nobody can film anything right now, so they have nothing except for what's in the can right now, what their editors can kind of work on, the actual studio non-union people themselves. Like, there's a couple of things that are right now being worked on. Rings of Power Season 2, House of the Dragon Season 2, yay! And obviously the Snow White remake and very few other things. Like, the overwhelming success of Barbie and Oppenheimer in theaters right now, that's going to be the last in a very, very, very long time, the last success at the box office, because for the rest of the year, like, what's left? Okay, some things may or may not be pushed back, and everything that is concretely put in place, the Marvels, like, that's Disney's last grasp at relevance for this year, and a big reason why they're going to end up losing $1 billion. Like, it's tough, man. It's tough. But I'm sorry for horrifying everybody with dollar store Stevie Nicks on the screen right now. But that right there is Florence Pugh. She was in Oppenheimer. She was also killed in Oppenheimer, and she also showed her tits, which, I don't know, by that picture right there, or that picture right there, do you even really want to see them? Or could you even tell if she took off her top, if there was anything that's there? That's atrocious. But as hard as I've been on Rachel Zegler in recent videos, between the two, do I even need to say that, or is it that obvious? I'm sorry. The backlash occurred after several videos of Rachel speaking negatively about the original film in various interviews last year resurfaced online, where she said that her version of the character, she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love, as well as being labeled as a fake feminist. More on that from yesterday's video. Some critics accused Rachel of gaslighting, and one marketing consultant has warned that Disney will need to be careful with how they have portrayed Snow White. Well, they've already fucked that one up, okay? You already let the cat out of the bag of what you guys are going to be trying to push with the casting of Zegler. You have Snow White, and for as many props as I gave her before, Snow White. Snow White. There she is. I already knew that, okay, there was some political aspirations behind this one, but and then you take a look at the list of people that are going to be behind this as well, and then you realize, and hey, I already gave a shout out to Oppenheimer, now you can do it for Barbie. Oh, who wrote and who is writing the Snow White live action remake? Oh, Greta Feminism First Gertwig. Yeah, all of that love that she's getting right now by a bunch of piss-thinking feminists. Well, hopefully you turn out in those droves that you turned out to Barbie in when this abomination flops onto the screen. Now, for some of those chicks, it'll count as their 17th abortion. Speaking to DailyMail.com, branding expert Carla Spite said, whilst it's been clear that the original Disney princess films hold old values. No, they're called timeless values, you fucking spinster. Disney have fallen into the trap of going to the opposite extreme to inflict strong and loaded messaging on the viewers, believing that's empowerment. There was a time when Disney actors were media trained and were thoughtful about the impact of their words, whilst sticking to key messaging about the film. But it has seemed to gone into total rewrite of Snow White, picturing her as a girl boss, and has gone to the heads of their stars. Yeah, exactly. And let's not try to whitewash history, even though that Snow White has been brownwashed. But even still, like, outside of very few examples, when it comes to the Disney princess films, it's just basically encouraging super high standards and idealized relationships that just aren't analogous to real life situations. Like, they weren't even analogous back in the cut. Like, there's only one that I can think of that's even remotely and does have some truth behind it. And if I ever want to do a full-length media review, I'm definitely going to be breaking down that film. It just so happens, and okay, maybe a little bit of a hint as to what film I'm talking about, is my personal favorite Disney film. I probably mentioned it before, and I probably will in the future as well. But yeah, there are some truths behind that one, some just blatant truths, for as much as it walks back other truths as well. But let's get back to this. Disney will need to be careful how they, portrayed Snow White, and what they do and don't allow their actors to say about it going forward. Because, yeah, also, if you watch those interviews, which we have in previous videos as well, you know that there are definite talking points that are coming from the studios or from the marketing department as well. It's not 1937 anymore. She's a strong, empowered character now, and the prince, she doesn't necessarily need the prince. And she knows very well. Maybe she's a great actor because she can definitely remember her lines. It's just her delivery needs a little bit of work, because even without sound, you can totally tell how insufferable Rachel Zegler is. It can have a huge impact on ticket sales, especially with the amount of negative backlash so early into the promo trail. Yeah, exactly, because we're still, 6 months out from this atrocity, and that's also presuming that it doesn't get pushed back. We'll see. Carla continued, they need to get to the key messaging and strong selling point into a brief for the cast in the film to ensure they stick to it. If they don't, it's a disaster waiting to happen, and the backlash will keep growing. It's possibly a good idea to get Rachel to clarify what she meant and highlight it was her own personal opinion, not a slight on women. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd always say never back down, don't capitulate to the mob, but she's also on the other side, and if you want to play stupid games, you end up winning stupid prizes. So by saying I wasn't talking about all women and, kind of adopt the talking points from the chick that labeled her a fake feminist beforehand, that would be helpful. It's definitely public relations 101. They should highlight the important message that it's okay to be what you want, or be what you want to be. After all, Disney has been famously telling us that they're in a place where dreams do come true, and have never actually defined what those dreams should be. Neither should their actors. PR expert Nick Edie, whatever, agrees and told DailyMail.com that perhaps Rachel isn't the best person to promote the film despite playing the main character. Yo, that's a fucking damning indictment. You're also kind of getting the same type of situation run back from 2017's Star Wars The Last Jedi. I know that everybody back in the cut who was making videos about the topic were all pointing this out as well, but Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, who's a total fucking nut job, but he does love the character of Luke Skywalker, which is totally fine, man. I personally have no attachment to it, but it really doesn't matter. He does. He played it incredibly well from what everybody says. It's just the film around it sucked, and Mark knew it, and he was out there on the stroll being asked about it, saying, I totally disagree with everything, don't like what they did with my character. And that just became one of those go-to for the detractors to just go, yeah, Mark Hamill knew that it was going to be total crap, even on the red carpet when he was asked, so what can people come to expect with a new Star Wars film? What's something that you're going to get out of this one that no other iteration has before? And then Mark said, well, it's the longest one. That's kind of the same situation that you're getting here with Rachel Zegler, okay? Kind of sucks, man. It's like, she's young, okay? And when you're young, you say some dumb stuff, but at the same time, man, you're 22. You're 22 and you're shitting on the world, mostly because, like I've said before, and I'll go ahead and say it again, she's never been told no. She has just been told that she is great and wonderful and fantastic. She has been fast-tracked to Hollywood in order to be the next it girl, but, well, realistically, if we can go ahead and gank another line from Stone Cold Steve Austin, if she was going to be the new it girl in Hollywood, well, I have an opinion on her. You just put an S in front of hit girl, and that's what I think about her, and that's the bottom line, son. So with all that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.